All right, let's talk about AWS networking. You see, there's this quiet hero. Its whole purpose is just pure, raw speed. Today, we're going to pull back the curtain on the AWS Network Load Balancer, what I like to call the Layer 4 Speed Demon. And this quote, it just nails the core idea. It's not about which one is better. No. It's about having two specialists for totally different missions. Think of it like this. You've got the meticulous traffic cop, and then you've got the wide-open, high-speed highway. Okay, so let's properly meet our two heroes. On one side, you have the Application Load Balancer, the ALB. He's the smart dispatcher, the brains of the outfit. And on the other side, we've got the Network Load Balancer, the NLB, our speed demon. He's all about the muscle. And for this explainer, we're putting all our focus on that speed demon. So, where does this hero get all its power from? What's its secret? Well, it all comes down to where it operates, its home turf, which is layer 4 of the network stack. Okay, so what exactly is layer 4? The beauty of it is its simplicity. It only cares about two things, the IP address and the port number. That's it. The NLB doesn't waste a single microsecond cracking open the data packet to read what's inside, like a URL path or a header. Nope, it just glances at the address label, figures out where it's going, and boom, forwards it at lightning speed. That right there, that's the secret sauce to its performance. Every hero has a reason they're called into action, right? A call to adventure. Well, the NLB is no different. It's the one you call when the stakes are incredibly high and you're dealing with a very specific kind of problem. So let's get down to it. When do you actually pick up the phone and call on the NLB? What kind of situation really demands this level of raw, unfiltered power? Let's dive into some real-world scenarios. Okay, first up, flash sales. Picture this. You launch a limited-time offer, and you go from maybe a few hundred users to millions in the blink of an eye. An application load balancer, well, it may struggle to spin up fast enough for that kind of insane, unpredictable spike. But the NLB? Man, it was born for this. It handles that massive, volatile traffic without even breaking a sweat. All right, what if your app doesn't even speak the normal language of the web, HTTP? Think about online gaming or live streaming. A lot of those platforms use something called UDP. It's a much faster, more direct way to send data packets. Your typical smart ALB just doesn't know what to do with that. But the NLB, it's completely fluent, no problem at all. And that same idea applies perfectly to the world of IoT, the Internet of Things. You've got potentially millions of smart devices out there, all sending these tiny little bits of data. They often use specialized, lightweight protocols like MQTT. And just like with UDP, this is a job for our Layer 4 specialist. It makes the NLB absolutely essential if you're building a huge IoT platform. Okay, and this next one is a huge deal, especially in the corporate world. You ever deal with a client, maybe a big company that has super strict firewall rules? They'll often tell you they need one single, unchanging IP address to add to their allow list. An ALB just can't give you that. But an NLB, it can, and that can be a real project saver. All right, so we've seen the kinds of missions this hero is perfect for. Now, let's really get into the nitty-gritty. Let's break down the actual superpowers that make the NLB the go-to champion for these jobs. So here are its 4 main superpowers. First, that static IP address we just talked about, so important. Second, we're talking ultra-low, mind-blowing latency. Think microseconds. Third is automatic zonal isolation. What's that? It means it can survive an entire data center in a region going down automatically. And finally, and this is a big one, it actually preserves the original source IP of the user, which is absolutely critical for things like logging and analytics. And you know what? I really want to double-click on that static IP point. If you've ever had to deal with corporate firewall rules and security teams, you know this feature isn't just nice to have. It is an absolute lifesaver. Seriously, it can be the difference between your project launching on time or getting bogged down in security reviews for weeks on end. And let's talk about that speed again. I want this to sink in. We're not just talking milliseconds, which, by the way, is already really fast. We are talking microseconds. That's a whole other level. This is the kind of performance you need for high-frequency trading, where a tiny fraction of a second can be worth millions. Or, for competitive online gaming, where even a tiny bit of lag is game over. But you know how it is. All that incredible power has to come at a cost, right? Every hero has a weakness, their own personal kryptonite, and it is absolutely crucial that you understand the NLB's kryptonite before you decide to send it into battle. So what are the trade-offs for all that speed? Well, for one, the NLB can't do any of that smart routing. It can't look at a URL and say, oh, you're going to /blog, so I'll send you to the blog servers. Or you're going to /API, so you go to the API servers. It doesn't know how. Its health checks are also pretty basic. It just checks if a port is open, not if your application is actually healthy. And, a big one, it can't directly integrate with awesome security tools like the AWS Web Application Firewall. Okay, so we've seen the incredible powers and we've seen the weaknesses. Now, it's time for the final showdown. How do you actually choose your champion? Let's put everything we've just talked about side by side in a simple head-to-head comparison. This should make the choice crystal clear. And really, this table tells the entire story. Look, you've got the ALB. It's your Layer 7 champion, perfect for web apps and microservices. It gives you that smart path-based routing, operates in milliseconds, but has a dynamic IP. Then you have the NLB, your Layer 4 champion. It's built for raw performance, gaming, IoT, you name it. It delivers microsecond latency and that all-important static IP, but no smart routing. See? It's really not about one being better than the other. It's about picking the right tool for the job you need to do. So there you have it. You've met the heroes. You know their strengths, you know their weaknesses, and you know exactly when to call on each of them. So the only question left for you is, which one does your next project need? Are you going to call the smart dispatcher or the speed demon?